Sometimes we find ourselves asking, God, how can you let something like this happen? And today I'm going to be talking to you about something that just may trigger that in your mind. But let me ask you a question. True or false? Slavery ended with abolition in the 1800s. Unfortunately, the answer to that question is false. Human trafficking is alive and well today, and human trafficking is slavery. In fact, human trafficking is the second biggest criminal activity in the world, second only to gun trafficking. Drug trafficking is a third place. Are you shocked by that? I am. I'm shocked because we fought a war, the Civil War here in the United States, to end slavery, to put an end to it. So Abraham Lincoln could stand up and say, slaves, you're free. And yet here we are talking about slavery once again. We just gave it a fancier name. It's estimated there are about 40 million people in slavery today worldwide. There are two basic kinds of human trafficking victims. There are people in the sex trade, which you may have heard of, and there are also people in the labor trade, slave trade, where they work for little or no money. It's estimated there's $150 billion in profit, not revenue, profit from the human trafficking markets. The sex trade gets approximately 2/3 of that profit, and the labor trade about 1/3 of the profit. When we talk about numbers of people who are enslaved in these markets, you flip it. 2/3 of the people who are slaves in the world today are in the labor market, the labor slave trade, and 1/3 are in the sex trade. Sex slaves. It's horrible when you think about it. And it's horrible when you think that children are the most vulnerable. We'll talk about that in a moment. Let me ask another question. True or false? There isn't any of this human trafficking in my community, in my neighborhood. Well, you'd be very wrong. As a matter of fact, there's human trafficking all over Southern California and all over California. California, according to the National Human Trafficking Resource Center, who keeps statistics on human trafficking, says that California is number 1 in human trafficking. That's a horrible number 1 to be, and I'm not proud of it. Now, as I said, children are the most vulnerable. Children are trusting. Their friends sometimes aren't really their friends. They're already involved in sex trafficking, and they bring them into it. Or their boyfriend, believe it or not, will pimp them out. It's a horrible thing. There is even YouTube instruction on this. Pimping 101, if you will. A video teaching people how to pimp out children and get them into the slave trade to make money. What are we going to do? Don't take on these human traffickers yourselves. You'll fail. These people are not even afraid of the police or law enforcement. They're that powerful. So what you can do is call the police when you see something that looks out of place. Call the police when you see an old man with a really young girl and giving her money, or taking her away from somewhere, or near a hotel. Just call the police if they don't look like family. And pray. Pray for the victims. Pray for the people who are perpetrating this awful crime. And pray for the people who are using these people. God will hear our moan and end